Number 10. Yakuza Like a Dragon is a role-playing video game developed and published by Sega. It is the 8th main release in the Yakuza series and was released in Japan and Asia for PlayStation 4 and for Microsoft Windows and for Xbox and Xbox Series X and S, and for the PlayStation 5 version with the subtitle International in Japan and Asia is set released worldwide on March 2021. And for the story, I'm going to give you some hints about the story in contrast to the previous Yakuza games that focused on the life of Kazuma, a man trying to lead a normal life following his removal from the Tojo clan. And there is a new protagonist named Kasuka after being imprisoned for 18 years only to then be betrayed by his former boss. Then the game offers both Japanese and English audio to the player. And for the gameplay is similar to the previous games in the Yakuza series. Side quests known as sub-stories in the game can be taken up to the player to gain additional rewards, and players are also able to enjoy various side activities around the map. Number 9. Chronos Before the Ashes is a role-playing game developed and published by Gunfire Games for the Oculus Rift Visual Reality VR headset, and the game was released for PlayStation 4, Microsoft Windows, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox One on December 1st, 2020. And for the gameplay, the game is a third person, though the game only has a camera similar to the early Resident Evil games. In the game, the player controls a character who is on a quest to kill a dragon inside Labyrinth. The game's combat mainly involves slashing enemies with the weapons while fending off hostile attacks with the shield. Should the player die when they are exploring, they can only re-enter the Labyrinth in a game year later, and the character will age. As the player progresses in the game, they will solve the puzzles, acquire new weapons, and unlock magical powers. As the players earn experience in the game, they will level up, which allows them to improve the player characters. Number 8. The Outer Worlds is an action role-playing game developed by Obsidian Entertainment and published by a private division. The game was released for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Microsoft Windows with Nintendo Switch version. And for the story, in 2355, the Hope discovered drifting the outskirts of the Halcyon system by a mad scientist who manages to safely revive one of the passengers, who's called the Stranger, and his name is Wallace, informs the stranger that the Halcyon colony has fallen on hard times due the mass. And for the gameplay, it is a third-person game. In the game early stages of the game, the player create their own character and unlock a ship which acts the game's central hub space. Though the player cannot control their ship directly, it serves as a fast travel point to access different areas in the game and acts as the player represented in inventory space. Number 7. Assassin's Creed Origins is an action and adventure game developed and published by Ubisoft. Is the 10th installment in the Assassin's Creed series. Development of the game began following the release of Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Development was led by Ubisoft Montreal, with the assistance provided by the other Ubisoft studios around the world. The game had a development time of 4 years by a team of nearly 1,000 people. Origins was released on PlayStation 4 and Microsoft Windows and for Xbox One. And for the story, the game is set in ancient Egypt near the end of the Ptolemaic period, 4943 BC. The story follows Mid-J named Pike and explores the origins of the country's long conflict between the Hidden Ones to the Brotherhood of Assassins, who fight for peace through the focused imposition of order. And for the gameplay, it is a third-person game, and in the game the player control of Pike of Mid-J, tasked with protecting Shawa. Players complete quest liner with the set objectives to progress through the story. Outside of quest, the player can freely roam in the open world environment on foot, horseback, camelback cities. Number 6. Dark Souls 3 is an action game developed by From Software and published by Bandai Namco Entertainment for PlayStation 4, Xbox One and Microsoft Windows. It is the 4th installment of the Souls series and the final installment of the Dark Souls Legacy. The game was released in Japan. And for the story, the game set in a kingdom of Lothric. A bell has rung to a signal that the first flame responsible for maintaining the age of the fire is dying out. As has happened many times before, that coming of the age of the dark produces the undead curse begins the rise up after a death. The age of the fire can be borlocked with the fire, in which great lords and heroes sacrifice their souls to rekindle the first flame. However, Prince Lothric, the chosen linker for the age. And for the gameplay, it is a third-person game similar to the previous games in the series, and the game design followed closely from Dark Souls 2. The player have many weapons to fight against the enemies, such as bows, throwable and swords. Shields can act as secondary weapons, but they are mainly used to deflect enemies' attacks and protect the player from suffering damage. And for number 5, Jinshin Impact. It is a free-to-play action role-playing game developed and published by MiHoYo. The game features a fantasy open-world environment and action-based battle system using element magic and characters switching, and use Gucci game monetization for players to obtain new characters and new weapons and other resources. The game is online only and features limited multiplayer mode, allowing up to 4 players to play together. It was released for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, Android and iOS, and it is also planned to release on Nintendo Switch and PlayStation 5. And for the story, Jinshin takes place in a world of Teyvat. A pair of twins who travel across the stars and visit different worlds arrives in Teyvat, but are separated by unknown god who takes one and seal away the other some undisclosed amount of time later. The sealed twin, referred as a traveler, awakens. And for the gameplay, the game is an open world action game that allows the player to control one of 4 interchangeable characters in a party. Switching between the characters can be done quickly and during the combat to the player to use several different combinations of skills and attacks. Number 4, Cyberpunk 2077 is a 2020 action role-playing video game developed and published by CD Projekt. The story takes place in a night city, an open world set into the Cyberpunk universe. Players assume the first game of customizable mercenary known as V, who acquires skills in hacking and with the option for melee and range combat. The game was developed using the Red Engine 4 by a team around 500 people, exceeding in the number that worked on studio's previous game, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt 2015. CD Projekt launched a new division, Warclaw, Poland, and partnered with the Digital Scapes, Nevada, QLOC, and Jail Research to aid the production. Cyberpunk creator Mike Bondsmith was consultant actor. Keanu Reeves has starring role. The original score was led by Emerson, featuring contributions of several licensed artists. CD Projekt released Cyberpunk 2077 for PlayStation 4 standard, Windows and Xbox One, with the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S version planned to follow in 2021. It received praise for a narrative setting and graphics, although some of it is a gameplay elements received a mixed response. In contrast, it was widely criticized for bugs, and particularly the console version, which also suffered from performance issues. Sony removed it from PlayStation Store on 17th December 2020, but the game is still good if you will play it on PC. Number 3, Horizon Zero Dawn is an action role-playing game developed by Guerrilla Games and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. The plot follows Aloy, a hunter in a world overrun by machines who sets out to uncover her past. The players use ranged weapons, spear, and stealth to combat mechanical creatures and other enemies' forces. A skills tree provides the player with the new abilities and bonus, and the player can explore the open world to discover locations and take in on a side quest. It was released for PlayStation 4 and Microsoft Windows. Horizon Zero Dawn is the Guerrilla Games' first intellectual property since Killzone in 2004, and first role-playing game development began in 2011 after the completion of Killzone 3 in 2004. And for the gameplay, it is a third-person gameplay. Players controls of Aloy. She is a hunter who kills the enemies in a different way, setting traps such as trips wires, using the tripcaster, shooting them with the arrows using explosive and spear and machine components, and she can loot the remains of crafting resources such as ammo, bunches, quivers, and I recommend you to play this game if you didn't play it yet. And for Horizon Forbidden West is an upcoming action role-playing game developed by Guerrilla Games and published by Sony Interactive Entertainment. It is set to be released in 2021 for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. It is the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn in 2017. And Horizon Forbidden West continues the story of Aloy, a young huntress of the Nura tribe sent on a quest to the Arcane Frontier, known as the Forbidden West, to find the source of a mysterious blodgett that kills all insects on her journey across these uncharted lands. Aloy encounters hostile regions ravaged by massive storms and equipped by dangerous enemies and deadly machines. She is also discovered a vast array of environments. And for the gameplay, as all of you know, it is a third-person game. Players controls Aloy, a huntress in a world by a dangerous machine set into the open world located. Number 2, Monster Hunter World Iceborn is an exception pack developed by Capcom for 2018 action role-playing game Monster Hunter Worldwide. It was released for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One and for Windows. It introduced new monsters, improved gameplay, machines, and new story in Half Forest Reach and an Arctic themed region. The game was both commercial and critical success, selling more than 6 million copies upon release. To the Coral Highlands, a reef-like area in the world, to suddenly migrate beyond the sea, the Research Commission investigates. And for the gameplay, it is similar to the base game Iceborn. The player takes the role a hunter, slaying or tripping a large monster solo with the player. Iceborn features a new Arctic ESO system named Half Forest Reach, said to be one of the largest map created by the team, where the players will encounter both a new and returning creatures as the player slowly progress in the story. More areas in Horfrest. Number 1. Bloodborne is an action role-playing game developed by software and published by Sony Computer Entertainment, which released for PlayStation 4, and the game follows the player character Hunter through the despot Gothic Victorian era inspired cities of Yaharnam, whose inhabitants are afflicted with the blood-borne disease, attempting to find the source of the plague. The player's characters are reveals the city's mysteries while fighting beasts and cosmic beings. The game played from a third-person perspective. Players controls customizable. The gameplay is focused on strategic weapons-based combat and exploration. Players battle afraid enemies while using a teams such as swords and firearms, exploring different locations, interactive with the non-player characters, and are revealing the city's mysteries. Bloodborne began development under the working title of Project Beast, bearing many similarities to the Soul series of games by the same developer and director. Bloodborne was inspired by the literary works of authors H.P. Lovecraft and Bram Stoker. And if you would like to see more videos like this one, don't forget to subscribe and to hit the like button down below, and I will really appreciate it. Thank you all for watching, and thank you for your support, and I will see you next time. Bye.